All right, and we are live. This is our first podcast ever. This is going to be beta. We're not 100% certain if we're going to be keeping this around or not. It fully depends on how much interaction we have with people in the chat, how much positive feedback we get from it, and all that kind of good stuff. So today, I'm here with a longtime rhythm game player known as JJK. His real name is Justin.
Hello, everyone.
As far as whether or not he will be here consistently, I'm not sure. We're trying to figure that out. It's like I said, this is all beta, so I don't know if it's going to be me with Justin on every time we do this. The idea behind it is to have discussions about anything that is rhythm game related, even if it's not dancing games. It's unlikely that we'll just be discussing Sound Voltex and 2DX and all that kind of stuff often. It's mainly going to be focused on DDR, PIU, and ITG. DDR not so much, but more focus on paneled dance games, if that makes sense. For today's podcast, we're going to be discussing basically just back history between myself and Justin with how we got into rhythm games, just kind of like a mini description or bio of each of us. So I think I'll have Justin start it off. So Justin, give us a little description about your history with rhythm games and what got you into it and your progression over time of like how you went from one rhythm game to the other and why you did it.
Sure thing. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I've been playing rhythm games since 2002. I was 16 years old when I first got my first taste of it. And I started on DDR Max 2. I actually had a birthday party at a family fun center, and a friend of mine was really into DDR at the time. And I had seen it a few times at arcades. I didn't think a whole lot of it, but he managed to get me to try it out, and I got hooked pretty much immediately on this DDR Max 2 machine that I had no intention of playing when the day started. And from that point, I started playing about on a weekly basis, just trying to get my DDR skills up as much as I could. It took me a while to actually get to expert mode. I actually started very slow. Didn't have any sort of AAAs or PFCs to my name for about a year and a half or so after I started, which is really funny to think about because, I mean, it seems that today's players PFC songs almost automatically after they start, or that's just how it seems to me. But the years went on. ITG came out in 2004. I started playing that for a while. Continued playing DDR and ITG in the years that followed, and now this year, 2017, now that Seth has his Pump It Up Prime 2 machine, I've started to dabble in that, and it's kind of like learning to play it all over again because I'm really bad at Pump. I never paid it much mind, and now I have a new game to kind of be a noob at again and learn how to try out.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see people who have all this experience in one rhythm game try to move over to another one, and it's like starting all over again. Kind of crazy.
Fun though. I really like it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like all these games are really fun, but like I think everyone always has the preference of what they would prefer to play, and some people just purely hate one game or the other.
Not me. I actually like Pump because it's just kicking my ass so much. I like the fact that it's like learning to play all over again.
Yeah.
With 5-panel. I felt that way about Double too when I first started learning to play that. It's like, this is a brand new experience, and it's something that I have like almost no experience with. And sometimes just being humbled like that is really fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole new learning curve, and it takes you out of your comfort zone, especially for Pump. I think it's the same if they're a Pump player and they're going over to ITG or DDR too. It seems weird to us 4-panel players going into 5-panel to think about that, but it's true. So for me, I started playing Dance Dance Revolution when I was
8, right?
8 years old.
My God.
Yeah. So that was back in 1998. I think that's when it first came out.
It is when it first came out, yeah.
Yeah, when I was living at home with my parents still, I was at a local game store before GameStop was a thing. I think it was called like M&M Video Game Store or something like that, and just some local store in Marietta in SoCal. I saw Dance Dance Revolution all boxed in. It had the home play mat to play on, and I pointed it out to my mom and said, I really want to play that game. And she's like looking at it like, this is silly. This isn't like, you're not gonna get into this. Like, this looks like a fad. It's just a joke. And I just kept begging her there for it. I said I really want it, and it was for PlayStation 1, wasn't it?
It was. In the beginning, it was a PlayStation home version exclusive.
Yeah. So I started out with that, and I remember going home and unboxing it and trying it out, and I just kept playing it. Like, all my friends came over and played it with me. My older sister would play it with me, and we kept going back and forth on standard mode, or whatever it was called back then. I don't even know if it was still standard mode, because it used to be called Maniac on Expert, right? Or Heavy.
Heavy and Maniac were the same. Those are the same difficulties.
But which one came first? Like, did they call it Maniac first? I think they did.
They called it Maniac before they called it Heavy.
Yeah.
And then it switched to Expert.
Nowadays?
And now it is Expert.
Okay, so it had 3 names.
Yeah, it's had at least 3 names.
What about Challenge mode? Was it Oni first or Challenge? Or is it always both?
It's always been Challenge. Oni mode refers to the courses from Max 2, and sometimes they had like special challenge difficulties, like the purple difficulty.
Yeah.
That was a step above Expert.
Okay, so yeah, I started with that, and trying to remember. I would go to like local tournaments and stuff when I was younger. I mean, you got to remember, when I first started, I was 8 years old, so over like a few years later, like when what was it, 3rd mix, 4th mix, 5th mix, all through that time, and even up to Extreme, I was just playing all the time. I wasn't trying to do it competitive, really. I mean, I was just really into it. At the time, my mind was so young, I didn't really think about competitive stuff. I know it sounds weird because I said I go to tournaments, but it was mainly just for fun. I wasn't really like, yeah, I'm going to win. And I would just watch these really good players play freestyle or play for real on Expert mode or Heavy mode or do the Oni courses. And back on Extreme, they had, I don't know what the course was called, but it had all the boss songs in there. And
Legend Road.
That's the one, Legend Road. It was like a dream to pass that, and I never could before. And I watched that one viral video of like the guys taking turns on it for that tournament. Yeah, that video. I'd always watch it. Like, wow, these guys are crazy. They had so much stamina. Even though they're taking turns on these songs, like nowadays you just look at that, you're like, wow, like this is a joke. It's crazy. So from there, I do remember when I first got into DDR Max, freeze arrows were introduced. I think that's when they came out.
Yeah, they came in 6th mix, DDR Max.
I saw those and I thought they were like a bunch of arrows in a row, so I would spam it with my foot.
I've seen that happen quite a bit.
It's like it's like kind of like rolls, like before rolls were a thing. Like, I thought that's what it was. And even with rolls, you don't even have to hit them that fast. Like, I was doing like trying to do 30 seconds with one foot. I was freaking out, and then I realized, oh, you just have to hold it. And I felt really dumb after that. After Extreme was out for a while, I think that's when I kind of stopped for a little bit. I saw Supernova come out, and I kind of played it, but I wasn't into it as much as Extreme. Extreme was like the peak for me in DDR, like for me personally playing it. That was the most fun I ever had with DDR, even to this day.
It was a great game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. And after Supernova was out for a little while, I did play a little bit, and then Supernova 2 came out, and that's kind of when I stopped. I kind of skipped a part, but so when Supernova came out, I was kind of on it, and I went to a tournament out in San Diego in this place called Nickel City.
That was the tournament that I hosted, actually.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I didn't know him at the time. Like, I just went there.
Yeah, I didn't actually get introduced to you until sometime later, but I digress.
Yeah, so I guess coincidentally, I didn't even know that. Like, wow. Like, okay, so he was there, and I was there, but I went in the back behind, like the wall directly behind the Supernova cabinet, which was up front, waiting for my turn or my match. I saw In the Groove 2 on an upgrade. It was just on a DDR cabinet, just had In the Groove on it, and I never seen it before. I never heard of it. Do you remember what year that tournament was?
That tournament...
It's like 2008?
That was 2006.
Damn, really?
Yeah, that was the 2006 tournament.
Wow.
Shortly after Supernova 1 came out.
See, I'm really bad with like timestamps.
Oh, I'm not. I have a really good memory.
I
got your back, friend.
Yeah, I'm really bad with this. But so I guess 2006 was when I first saw In the Groove 2. And I saw, being a DDR player, I saw that there was an 11 on there, and I said like, wow, like this is like way harder obviously, because clearly it's harder because it has a higher difficulty. Wow, 10 is the max on DDR, so I want to see this. It was July. I played that, and I failed miserably. It kicked my ass, and I was like, this is way harder than anything I've ever seen on DDR. And from there, I just kept coming back to this arcade called Nickel City, and I kept playing in the groove. And all my friends got really into it.
So I have a question. So you were into home version for long before you started playing in the arcade, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I had it on the home pad. Yep.
Cool.
And then I eventually went to like bowling alleys and local arcades when I discovered that it was a thing. It was there.
Do you still have your original mat?
No, I don't even know where that thing went. It probably got trashed years ago. And I went through so many of those, the cheap ones. I don't even remember what they ran for. I think like $20-$30.
Something like that. I had a soft pad at one point, and I taped it to like a really crappy piece of wood because I wanted to like stabilize it. And I remember it had all this dust accumulating in it, and it's somewhere in my mom's house. I haven't seen it in about a decade.
I remember for Christmas I got I think they're called Red Octane metal pad.
Yeah, I remember those.
I had that for Christmas, and it broke on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I played Sakura and Legend of Max on it in PSMO, and it just died.
Couldn't handle those.
It couldn't handle it at all.
Fam, where the 6-footers at?
Yeah, it just died so fast on me. I think after I was going to Nickel City all the time, I brought a ton of friends with me, and then eventually I heard that there was something called a Dedicab, and I was like, what's this? And I was out in Minnesota with my dad for a trip because we used to go out there all the time to watch the Minnesota Vikings play. And I asked my dad if we can go to this one mall that had a dedicated cabinet there. And I wanted to see it in person. And I played on it, and I called my friend as soon as I played on it and said, dude, this is so much better. The pads feel amazing. Like, it's so sensitive. It's this and that. And then eventually, Nickel City, the same one that I used to go to in San Diego, they got one. And that is the cabinet that I first purchased. That was the one that we got.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one.
Learning something new every day.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Everyone's going to learn something new about all of us, even my own friends that know me personally. So yeah, that was my first cabinet. And it wasn't for sale originally, but we convinced the owner and we got it. And that's how Happy was born, really. So there's a little history lesson for all the fans out there in case you were all wondering or curious how I got into it. That's my history.
What I want to know is what's up with Nickel City these days? I know that they moved to a different spot in San Diego.
They did move.
I'm assuming that they took, because I know they got another Dedicab after a while. That was Mason's machine.
Yeah, so originally they put Blake's machine in there.
That's right.
Then Blake moved, I think, and he sold his machine to our friend Dane. I don't know if you've met Dane before.
I have not.
He's another San Diego player, and he moved to Irvine for college.
Oh.
But he owns Blake's machine as of now.
Okay. Is he still an active player?
He's not as active as far as I know. He's just busy with, priorities and stuff and all that, so he's kind of busy.
Yeah.
But he does play from time to time. He doesn't play as often as he used to, though. He was really good, and I think he's dropped a little bit down, but that's just going to happen naturally from a lack of playing any rhythm game.
Yep. Becoming an adult will do that.
Yes. And for Mason, he put his machine in Nickel City. And this is in the new location, mind you. Then they took it out because there was just problems. People were not cleaning up after themselves, I guess. They were leaving baby powder all over the pads.
Ouch.
Which is a very common thing to happen with ICG players in public arcades.
That's for sure.
And it just went downhill, and the owner of Nickel City said, I don't like this. It's, we have families and kids come in here, and it's a hazard. So the owner of the cabinet decided to take it out and keep it in his house. And so, the thing that I've always said is, it seems, at least for SoCal, I'm sure this applies to many other places, but in SoCal, for me and all of our friends out here, arcades that we go to, we migrate to arcades and then they die out eventually. And that's kind of what happened with Nickel City in terms of rhythm games. They're just kind of faded away. So now we went to Howie's Game Shack. That was a really good place to play at. But then eventually they started enforcing these rules, and then we kind of went away from that. And then on top of that, our friend bought the machine from them. And so Howie's died officially. Then we went to Super Arcade, and I saw you there a couple times before we started becoming closer friends.
That's right.
They had DDR 2013, 2014?
Yeah, 2013, and that was the only place in SoCal that you could play DDR 2013, and I was all about that game.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So that was the next hot spot to go to. They had In the Groove there, and they had DDR there. And they also had fighting game tournaments. It was a great place. And then they shut down, and we're supposed to open up again, but it never happened. I don't know what's going on with that anymore.
I've given up on that dream. I don't think we'll ever see that happen.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah, I think that's just done with. So no more DDR or In the Groove there.
No more anything there.
Yeah. Then there was this little tiny gap when I went to Arcade Infinity. Do you remember that place?
Of course. How can you not remember Arcade
Infinity is
great. That was the most iconic arcade that Southern California has ever seen.
Yeah. And I went there briefly for DDR with one of my friends, and then round one came into picture, and they kind of shut them out, I think, is what happened. It's just the mom and pop little arcade kind of got just ratted out, and it's kind of sad, everyone loved Arcade Infinity.
There were a few reasons why AI closed down, but definitely round one opening up a few blocks away didn't help matters at all. I know me personally, I never went to AI again after round one opened.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But we got a question here from Dolomania 4K. You're asking if it's a talk stream. That's correct. So it's a new series we're doing. It's called Happyf333tz Quadcast. It's just a podcast where we discuss anything dance game related or rhythm game related. We're going to have guests come on here, and we're going to discuss things, certain topics and whatnot. As of now, it's going to be bi-weekly. We're not sure if it's going to be a permanent thing. It all solely depends on the feedback we get. If people seem to like it, then we're going to stick around and keep doing it. It should be bi-weekly for every Saturday. So every other Saturday at 2 o'clock as part of our schedule.
I'm having a blast so far, so I'm all for keeping this.
I'm all for it. I think it's good.
Based on the first half hour, let's keep it going.
Yeah. I think it's a really good idea. A lot of people ask questions, and I think this is a good place to have questions be brought up. So why not do it? You say you're playing games while looking at the stream, so you're not really sure what's going on. It's chill. Yeah. I mean, it's something that's also good because, it doesn't make you feel obligated to watch anything visually because it's not visual. So it's really good to have running in the background. And if some people want to make comments or ask questions, it's all open. It's all open discussion. This podcast specifically is kind of an introduction. And if people ask questions, we'll answer them. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about just random things that are related to our history with rhythm games and how we got into it or how we got out of it. That's pretty much it. The length of it is going to vary. Minimum is 1 hour, but I'd like to go a little bit longer because my streams are typically 2 hours, 3 hours, but that's a little more difficult with a talk show kind of thing.
Let's keep it going.
So where was I at? Where was I last at? We were talking about
AI and
yes.
Basically just how the arcade scene in Southern California kind of evolved over time.
Yeah.
It seems like there's not much of where could you play ITG in public these days if you really wanted to? If you don't have a machine, there's that ice station that I still have never been to in Valencia, right?
And it's really beat down. Yeah, that's the only place I know of in SoCal that I know of.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing how times have changed. But I think that kind of speaks to a larger point that these games are best enjoyed in the privacy of your garage.
Yeah.
If you have the means to do so, because it seems that players once they kind of grew up and got some funds together and became adults, got jobs, they took it upon themselves to buy these machines so that they wouldn't have to leave the house and spend money on credits. Because I think that this is a pretty expensive hobby. I think you can agree if you're playing away from your home and you don't own a machine. The funds really add up over time. And for me personally, I got a much better peace of mind when I bought my own machine, and I know that it's just always going to be there. It's just one lump sum cost that I won't have to put any more money into ever again. And it just feels better knowing that I can just play at my leisure whenever possible. It's
a huge benefit. And even if you can't afford an arcade cabinet for whether it's a DDR machine converting to ITG or DDR or dedicated cabinet, or pump it up, no matter what kind of model you get. Even if you can't afford one of those, there are ways around it. People nowadays are just building custom builds or just buying a metal pad and that's it, or just playing off of a computer screen with a pad. That's the cool thing about mainly In the Groove is it's all custom based, so you have the flexibility of building whatever you want, however you want, if you can't afford a full arcade machine or have the room for it. That's another common issue.
So this month I actually helped set up a home setup for my girlfriend, and I think it's the coolest setup ever. It's one DDR pad with a Vizio TV monitor in front of her on a little table, and she's totally happy with it. It totally suits her needs.
And it's budget friendly. How much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
The pads. She bought both pads for only $200, and just the adapter kit to get them to communicate with just an everyday PC, like just a Dell Optiplex, was just another $200 on top of that. So
less than $1,000.
Yeah, less than $1,000, less than $500, because she already had that TV lying around.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, so I mean, like the price ranges, but it goes from super flexible, where it's not going to break your bank, up to breaking your bank, depending on what kind of investment you want to do on these kind of games. And I've always told people that, like, a lot of people ask, like, why do you have arcade machines? Like, mainly outsiders who don't play, but it's a simple answer. It's an investment. You're putting so much wear and tear on your car, gas,
that's another
food,
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
drinks,
I didn't even consider that.
social eating with friends. Like, it adds up a lot over time, especially like these Dave & Buster's and Round Ones. They're really expensive. They're really big companies, and they have a lot to give in regards to the machines they have there. I mean, we all know that we can't own a DDR8 cabinet as of now, which kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. But so it's there to play on, but it's so expensive.
That made me think. I remember when 50 cents for 3 songs was an ideal price structure for a round of DDR.
Yep.
I feel like you can't really get that anywhere, especially
gone.
not at Round 1. We have a commenter saying that Round 1 is stupid expensive. And
yeah,
I fully agree.
Yeah, RightTac is 100% correct. I think they are way too expensive, but they won't adjust that because they're making money off of it, and people are going. Usually normies and regular people. If you're like an outsider and you're not into these rhythm games, you go to an arcade that has beer and you're going to get drunk and just play the games one time and then go home, and that's who they're catering to. They're not catering to us, which it kind of sucks. That's why we like AI, Super Arcade.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, all those places which are gone. $1.50 for 3 songs. Yep, so it's an extra $1. It's pretty crazy. Sometimes more.
And what I also don't like is that you have to buy all of your credits up front, and that's really a Round 1 USA thing. When I went to Japan, I went to a Round 1, and I was fully expecting to have to buy a card. You can still pay for your games with the change in your pocket in Japan, which is how American arcades used to be, but this pricing structure now is just you buy just a whole bunch of credits up front and no refunds.
Yep, and that's exactly why, for me personally, why I decided to invest and to pump it up in the Groove. My wife invested in the Groove and the DDR, so I guess I should use my words carefully there. She'll roast me. She's like, that's my in the Groove cabinet. But yeah, we decided to invest in these because we play them so often, and I don't even want to look back at how much I spent on Round 1. You remember when I used to go like every day.
Yeah.
Well, I would go and play.
I was going there for a long time with you.
Yeah. I remember we were so split on like where we wanted to go, but regardless, we'd always go out to Dave & Buster's or Round 1. Whichever Round 1 it was, we would go there and play all the time. I almost went every day. There were times where, like, I think for like 2 weeks straight, I went every single day, all day, and I played.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It wears on you quickly, or at least it wore on me quickly.
Yeah, so this was when I was doing the steam cleaning job, so I worked really late at night, so I had a really flexible schedule of being available all day, since basically it was technically like a graveyard shift. And then when I got out of that, before getting back into it now, I had this photography job out in Lake Elsinore, and I worked all day. And even standing on my feet, going out in the sun, shooting events, I still had the energy and made the effort to go after work. After I got off at 8 o'clock and had to get up at 7 a.m. the next day, I would still go. Like, I would go all the time. I didn't care what my schedule was or how busy I was. I would make time for it. But because of that, excuse me, I would see my bank would just decline so fast because of how
Terrible
much.
feeling.
Yeah, I want to get good at these games, but it costs so much money to do so. You can't wait for RH to come out. I totally dropped $45K on a cap for that. Yeah, right, Tack. Like, it's totally understandable. It's really cool that they're making this game and Kyle Ward's making his game. It's just making rhythm games more available, since In the Groove is starting to fade away in regards of in the sense of publicly In the Groove is kind of fading away. And I feel like Kyle Ward's game and Rhythm Horizon will start coming out. And that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'm totally for getting these dance games out of arcades as much as possible and into people's homes. I think, and this is another topic altogether, but I think from an esports perspective, it's really hard to treat these games as esports if you really have to leave the house in order to play them. Because what other game, like, think of pretty much any other game that has like a really dedicated community scene. Like, you could be like a fighting game or Overwatch, or anything like that. You just start it on your computer or on your console, and you're able to start training. You're able to get better, but it's a hindrance if you have to leave the house just for the privilege of being able to play. And I think that these like Step Maniacs and Rhythm Horizon, this is a huge step in the right direction for just making it more readily available for people that enjoy these games, that want to get better and want to improve, but currently are not able to.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, like, because when you have private machines, on one side of the coin, it's like kind of shitty just because you have to, it's privately owned, so people don't really have access to it unless you as a person are welcoming. But even with that, you have to be careful because then your utilities will go up, or people will use you for the machines and not talk to you outside of that. So you're not an arcade. These people have to remember that. So that is one problem with it.
I can tell you're speaking from experience, aren't
yes,
you?
Yes, I am. I am speaking from experience. I have a lot of friends out here that have machines, and they aren't as open as we are. We try to be open because we have, like, mainly the Pump It Up machine. There's only one other person, as far as we know, in the world that has an LX cabinet.
Just Phil, right?
Just Phil.
In the world, really?
In the world, as far as we know. I think we're the first two owners.
I was just thinking Southern California. I did not know that.
As far as we know, I don't think anyone's really down to dump that kind of money on a cabinet privately. I mean, we could be wrong.
Yeah.
But to our public knowledge, I think we're the only two in the world right now.
That's impressive, dude.
So, yeah, with that, Phil, not Zello Phil. Phil Arrington is his last name?
Phil Arrington.
Yeah, he's a SoCal player, but he has an LX as well. He's the one that kind of talked me into it, actually. I was trying to discuss it with him, saying, hey, I got this amount of money from my photography equipment. What kind of cabinet should I invest in? He just looked at me. He's like, you know what you need to get. He's like, LX. I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And I looked at it. I was like, all right, let's just do it, YOLO. So yeah, that's as far as we know, we're the only two. So with that, I kind of want to have an open door kind of sense, but at the same time, you have to be cautious and careful because of all the problems I listed before. It really does chew into your utility bill. We got a nasty surprise when we saw the utility bill recently after getting the LX cab and having so many people over playing. 24-hour stream did a number on that too, I'm sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, there's always drawbacks to having machines privately, but I think they're not nearly as bad as the drawbacks as public machines. I also hate lines. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, that's another topic altogether. I don't like having to wait in line. I don't like having to basically get warm, because it takes me a while to warm up when I'm playing these games, especially if I'm really going to go for some hard stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't like just the current DDRA system of, you play your 3 or 4 songs in your set, and then it's right back to the end of the line you go, and good luck trying to stay warm after all that, especially if it's, I play at Dave & Buster's more than I play at Round 1. And on Wednesdays is when they have the half-off deal, and that's obviously an ideal time to play because you're getting double your value. But that's also when everyone else is there. And the last few times that I've been there on a Wednesday, I've had to wait in line for about 45 minutes to an hour in between sets. And good luck getting much done on that kind of time. I just feel like I'm wasting my time when I do that.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I went to Dave & Buster's on Wednesday. The DJ is also really loud.
Yes.
And it's awful.
Yes,
because you can't hear the game. And for DDRA, it's pretty important that you can hear the game because of the timing windows on that game. They're extremely, extremely strict. So yeah, that's really annoying. That's the whole other thing, is the sound, drunk people bothering you. Mm-hmm. We discussed this a little bit in my car before setting up the stream. We were talking about like the pros and cons of like each thing with like public machines, private machines, each game, Pump It Up, In the Groove, and DDR. So it's pretty balanced, I would say, with each one. And I said it to Justin, it's like a double-edged sword with like certain things for each individual game. Right Tack Gaming is saying that he'd rather be friends with a person before he's constantly at their house playing, and I fully agree with you. I mean, I don't understand how someone could just come in and play and then say bye. We've had a few people that do that, and we've just avoided them at all costs because it's just rude. You can't, like, if you're gonna reach out to me and say, hey, can I come over? And I say sure and let you in here, and you go straight in the garage, play, come out and leave, it's just like, man, that's just rude. You shouldn't do that to anybody. You should be making an effort to be friends with these people first, and that's what I would do. When Phil got his LX cabinet, I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to be like, hey, can I come over and play? Come over, play, and then leave. I want to build a friendship with him first if I'm going to do that. And I think everybody should do that and should practice that kind of mindset and attitude, because it's not cool to do that to somebody,
Fully agree.
So we're about 40 minutes in right now, which feels like it wasn't even...
Yeah, it feels like half that to me.
Yeah.
I was over here just concerned that I wouldn't have anything to talk about. This is flowing quite nicely.
It's flowing nicely. Now my concern is, like, what should we discuss now? We got Right Tech Gaming in here talking. We got about currently like 8 viewers or so. There's no questions as of now, so I guess we can jump into another topic related. I mean, as far as introduction goes, I think we've discussed everything we needed to about each other. We gave her a little brief history on that. We discussed public arcades versus private owning. I forgot one more thing. So another reason we invested in the cabinets, again, this is personal reason. Me and my wife plan on having children one day, and we're definitely going to keep these cabinets around to try to get them into it. I mean, I don't know what dance games will be like in 10 years from now.
I think they're only going to go higher and higher. I think with these games that are coming out, I'm not trying to take over the point that you're making, but to answer your question, I think that they have a bright future ahead of them. I think that Step Maniacs is going to be a hit. I think that Rhythm Horizon is promising. I don't think that In the Groove is going away, and I don't think DDR is going away either, nor is Pump It Up. So I think that we're seeing just the scene growing, and I think that's great.
I hope so. I really hope that these games stay around. It would be really nice to see them keep progressively getting bigger. The only game that I would say would die out first, if any of them, would be In the Groove.
I agree with that.
Because it has no corporation behind it or company. It has no support from any company. It's all fan base. And as long as that stays that way, it's going to be the first to go. I mean, I don't want it to go. I really hope it stays along, or I hope it stays around as long as possible.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
I mean, anytime soon, no, I don't think so. As long as there's new players coming in too.
I mean, you said 10 years. I think will easily still be around in 10 years.
Isn't that crazy?
It's too fun to not be.
That's crazy.
Anything about DDR is now 20 years old, and like no sign of stopping there.
When did In the Groove come out? 2006?
2004 is when In the Groove 1
2004.
came out, and it was only available as an upgrade cabinet at that point.
So 2004.
Yeah.
So it'll be 20 years old in 2024 then, right? I'm bad at math. I'm really terrible at math. Right Tech Gaming says that you see AAA titles turning into motion capture games like Just Dance as they're really accessible to people. I really believe in Matt's vision for our age and how far it can go. Yeah, I think having these innovative kind of games are what going to keep them going and around. Like, as much as I hate Just Dance, it's still considered a rhythm game, and I think it's popular because of its availability, and that's the problem with rhythm games and their lack of popularity for the public. Like, I've discussed this many times with people, but dancing games always seem to be frowned upon by outsiders and normies. They just see it as kind of like a meme, like a joke. Like, they always make fun of it. Like whenever I see it in like public eye, it's kind of weird. Sometimes you get respect, but most of the time you get a lot of like people, if they're gonna comment on it, like, oh, he's holding onto the bar, he's cheating, or that's not dancing, or he's just vibrating his feet. And just usually negative comments. Have you had that kind of experience?
I have actually had the exact opposite of what you're talking about. When I think about casual bystanders and what they think about these games, I always think of just the crowds that surround DDR players at Dave & Buster's. It's amazing to me how eye-catching this game is to a lot of people. I really shouldn't say amazing, because it is a pretty eye-catching game, like even to us. But there's no better crowd pleaser than people playing DDR competently at a Dave & Buster's. And every time I go, I see just like walls of people surrounding the DDR machine and just being awe-inspired by what they're seeing in front of them. And I'm sure that there are some that are still on the entire bar argument and thinking that holding the bar is cheating. But I think in general, people just really love seeing DDR and ITG players do what they do.
I think that's true. I do agree that I get plenty of crowd when I'm out playing a game.
You do.
Or even you or our other friends or just anyone. It is an eye catcher.
It doesn't take much.
It really doesn't.
By our standards, at least.
Yeah, by like high standards for us rhythm gamers, it doesn't take much. I mean, you can play a expert chart on DDR that's like a 12, and they'll be like, wow, that's crazy.
Holic always brings the attention.
Yeah, those constant eighth note runs, man.
Oh, yeah.
With that weird time signature song. I think the people who are negative, I guess I should have rephrased it. Like, it seems like the negative people they are there in those crowds, but they aren't brave enough to say something about it. I don't know. It seems like it's only online. You read that kind of stuff. They never say it in person. They're like, hey, you're cheating. I've never gotten that before.
Well, you can say anything you want behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yes, this is true.
That goes for any gaming community.
Yeah. Right Gaming says he gets crowded whenever you play round one as well. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. It's very weird. Like, the games are not popular for like Twitch or just anywhere. Like, some videos on YouTube, they'll go viral. They'll explode. But I just read the comments, and those are what I was talking about. I always see those kind of comments from outsiders. They're like, oh, he's cheating or this and that. He's not moving his feet, all that kind of stuff, if the video's viral.
Rytag Gaming, I have a question for you if you're still around. What round one do you play at? And if you could, just tell me a little bit about what you're into with dancing games as we continue talking.
Yeah. So I wish that it's kind of a frustrating thing for me because everyone knows this. Everyone knows that we're trying to build this channel up and make rhythm games more public and more just known and trying to get outsiders more entertained by it. Mm-hmm. But it's extremely, extremely hard because specifically for ITG. That is why this is kind of a coincidence, but seeing that I'm a person that just goes for quad stars, I think that's more appealing to an outsider versus someone just trying to pass a hard song because they don't see a difference between a 14 and a 13 mm-hmm. or a 14 and a 15, you know? They just see a bunch of arrows coming up and they think, what's the difference? They all look the same, you know? So it's really weird, but it's kind of a shame because no matter what you're playing, it should still be amazing to these kind of people. And for some people it is, but it just seems like they don't see the difference because they're not in the game. It's like me. If I went and watched a fighting game, I wouldn't know what the hell's happening. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a good player and a bad player if they're playing by each other. Like, a really good player versus a decent person, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I think that's just how it is with rhythm games. You know, it's a sad reality. Rytech Gaming is saying he plays round one in Exton, Pennsylvania with Corey Wedge. He's a low-tier ITG player and terrible at Pump It Up. ITG, I haven't been playing much, so I'm back down to like 10s. You love fighting games.
Say what's up to Corey Wedge the next time you see him for me.
I think Justin plays Smash competitively or just casually?
I've entered a couple tournaments. I am not a tournament player by any stretch, but that wasn't really my goal for the game. I like just being able to go to someone's house and just beat everybody there, just beat all the casuals at Smash. But no, I am not a skilled Smash Brothers tournament competitor by any stretch.
So, but are you familiar with like the way the game works competitively?
Oh yeah, I'm always watching tournament streams for Smash. That's my favorite fighting game to watch by far.
Yeah, his name is Justin. It's Justin Currit.
Yeah.
So you're terrible at PIU. Have you ever played Pump It Up before? You're a Marth main.
Marth main. I main Zero Suit Samus. Marth is good though. Marth is climbing up in the rankings. It's funny how this has turned into a Smash discussion.
A Smash discussion. Yeah. I mean, well, there are plans on this channel to have like tournaments for fighting games, just like casually, like because we're gonna be doing the charity streams every month now. I think we're still trying to figure this out. So I think this upcoming Wednesday, we're actually going to do a charity event because I originally announced that every month, every last Wednesday of the month, we will have a charity event on this channel, and all donations on that day will be given to said charity that is we're promoting. And every month, it's going to be the last Wednesday of that month with a different charity every month. And every time month comes for that day, we're going to change it up. We're going to do pump it up tournaments, in the groove tournaments, maybe DDR tournaments if we can figure out a way to record the screen. That's really hard, and that's a whole other challenge. Smash, Yu-Gi-Oh, shenanigans, just tons and tons of different stuff. Maybe even Sound Voltex.
It sounds fun. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, we're trying to expand Happyf333tz. We want it to. Originally, I was streaming for fun and just doing in the groove. People wanted to see me play. They demanded to watch me play. Mainly after the whole Vertex Squared and Euphoria thing, they were like, we want to see Happyf333tz play, like just to verify stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll stream. And then it just turned into expanding and trying to brand myself and say like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. But now, seeing that the reality is outsiders aren't super into rhythm games, or they at least don't understand what's happening, I've decided to try to reach out to separate communities like Smash, Yu-Gi-Oh community, all rhythm games, Sound Voltex, 2DX, Poppin', get friends who play these games that are local or even far away and come out here and have a tournament for that game, because why not? It's a way to benefit from that for this channel. It's a good benefit for the channel. It helps others come together from all different sorts of communities and come together. One love kind of thing, man. It's a hippie moment, but it's true. Like just bringing different communities in and interacting with each other and learning from each other based off the games they play, or just getting to know more people, meeting people. That's the whole thing about it. And I think it's a really good direction that this channel is going to take. We'll see how it goes, though. So every month we're going to have a charity event. All donations are given to the charity, and it'll be really fun because it'll be something different. It won't be ITG and pump it up all the time. And I think it's a good thing. It's a fresh start, and it's a fresh thing for our viewers to see, instead of, oh, he's going to play pump it up again, or oh, he's going to play in the groove again. He's going to try to get quads again. Same old. Rytack says on his channel he mainly plays racing games and Stepmania. No pad life.
The Grace Autry, hello. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello, Grace. Back again. So Grace and Rytack recently. Rytack is becoming a norm. He's just always in here. He's just a regular. So shout-outs to them for sticking around. We also have some other regulars, but right now there's a lot of lurkers. We have a lot of people who aren't chatting it up, but you guys should chat it up. Ask any questions.
Speak up, guys.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, rhythm game related or not, like just reach out to us and ask us something. That's what we're here for. The whole point of this podcast isn't just for people to listen. It's for people to interact with us, because it's Twitch. We're live. We're live here. This isn't a YouTube video where it's scripted. We're just going with the flow, and anyone who has questions can ask us anything, whether it's the topic we're discussing right there, or it's just something completely random. Even if it's a personal question directed towards Justin or me, or you want an opinion on something, it doesn't have to be related to the discussion that we're having.
Yeah, I like talking with the chat. I think I'm having the most fun when we're just reading these comments and just bouncing ideas off of each other.
That's the benefit of Twitch, is
being
live and seeing people discuss things. It's almost like they're here with us.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks that there's a delay, but the good thing is with podcasts specifically is that you can be stretching it out with the discussion of something, and eventually you'll get a comment, and then you can respond to it accordingly.
That's for sure. We're keeping it flowing.
Grace says, did you figure out what was causing the lag on Overwatch the other day? Yeah, I did. It was just there was an update on OBS Studio, and it screwed with my settings, and it was very annoying, but we fixed it, so hooray.
What version is OBS Studio on now? I haven't updated mine in a while.
I think 19 point something.
Yeah, I'm still on 18 point something.
Oof.
Yes.
Hey, Roberto's in here. Hello, Roberto.
What's up, Roberto?
He says dance gamers are the jocks of the gaming community. Oh my goodness.
I mean, maybe some of us. Some of us, I would not put that word on in
Jocks.
the slightest.
The jocks.
Not even close.
I'm the cool kid. You're still on old OBS. Are you on Studio or the original OBS? OBS Classic, Rytack? Rytack, hashtag Stamina Nation. What else do we have in here? I'm trying to catch up. I think I skipped some. No, I got that covered. We can beat the delay with like Discord chat. That's true. We could do that. Maybe we could open up like a Discord server and then have like a podcast section so that we can stay up to date. But I don't know. There are other ways. Oh, you're on OG OBS Classic. Nice.
I have not used that one. I've always been about Studio.
I stuck with that one, and then I eventually moved to Studio. Studio is a lot better in my opinion, but I don't know the main differences. But from my experience, I like Studio a lot more. Seems like it's more flexible.
That's good.
So I would say that we should let the podcast go for about an hour and a half, I would say.
Okay.
So we got about 30 more minutes. I'm trying to make sure that we don't jump from too many topics, and that would cause us to have a lack of content. This is why we're going to try bi-weekly. As far as I know, this is going to stick around indefinitely unless I get like some sort of negative feedback from like a huge majority of people that say they don't like it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But I don't think that'll happen.
Based on this trial beta one, I don't think that's going to happen at all.
I think it's working now. I think it's a good idea. And like I said, it's a good direction that this channel's taking, because it's not always progressive to only play rhythm games, you know?
Yeah.
You got to kind of be flexible, but at the same time, not too chaotic, because then people won't know what you're mainly doing on the channel, you know? Kind of mix it up.
And that's why this channel's my favorite.
Oh, I love you too. So, Happy the cow, is that...
Yeah, that's Betty.
That's
Hello,
Betty. I saw Happy. I was like, that's Betty. Hello, Betty. So I think another thing that we can talk about is, briefly, would be some of the stuff on this channel. So as you guys know, we started within the groove. We moved over to Pump It Up. Those are the main source of this channel's content. But I recently did an IRL stream and got your guys' input and opinion. And we discussed a lot of things, such as IRL streams are going to become more of a norm. Which will include like simple things, just kind of like down to earth, personal level kind of things, like me and my wife going out on a walk with our pet snake Peaches, just going out to a park and just walking around, and we're live and we're just talking to the stream, interacting with you all, just kind of doing our day-to-day kind of thing. Or I'm just cooking something here and discussing anything with you guys, just more down to earth kind of stuff outside of rhythm games, you know. I think it's nice to have that kind of stuff.
The Grace Autry asks, I'm about to start streaming on YouTube soon. What advice do you have for people just starting out? And the number one thing that I would say in response to that is make your stream look nice. And when I say nice, I mean, like for an example, when I first started streaming, all I really had when I was streaming ITG was just a webcam shot of me and like the game capture. And I had both images just on a plain black background. They weren't really set up and organized nicely. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, why does it need to be set up nicely? Why does it need to look good? Because people are just going to want to see the scores that I get. And in the months that have followed, I've really been putting a lot more time into like having a nice background, having everything balanced and looking good, because I think it's going to draw a lot more people to your stream if it's obvious that you've put effort into the way that things look.
Yes.
And I learned a lot about that from Seth, actually.
Yeah, it's very true. Present yourself nicely.
Would you say that's number one?
I would say that's
top three at least.
Top three for sure. Maybe number one. I think the one that would have a good fight against that statement would be you as a person. Like, you just have to be an entertaining kind of person, you know? And that's one thing I've always fought for on this channel is interacting with my viewers. If you don't interact, it's no different than a YouTube video. This is Twitch. Or if you're on YouTube streaming, it's the same thing. This is YouTube Live. Whenever you're live, the whole point of being live is to interact, have good content, offer something that not everyone else is doing.
Like fit kicks.
Yeah, that's cool. Fit kicks. Yeah, man. Fit kicks are the way to go. I love those shoes.
Me too. We're both wearing them. Oh no, you're wearing socks now.
I'm wearing
You took
socks
yours
right now. I
off.
took mine off.
Oh,
It's too hot in the house.
It is hot in here right now.
But yeah, also Rytac Gaming says stay on a regular schedule. That is extremely true. You have to be consistent. I mean, the ultimate question, Grace, is what is your goal? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's your goal? Are you doing this for fun and just casually, and you just want to have a way to keep track of your progress, or are you trying to brand yourself and make something out of it?
Yeah, because if you're just doing it for fun or a casual thing on the side, it doesn't really matter so much what you do as long as you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, as long as you're not concerned about, I don't have viewers, and you're just doing it just because you're doing it. That's a very common thing that people do, and that's fine. But so don't take everything we say with a grain of salt, you know. You're going to do it casually, then yeah, don't worry about it too much. I would say, like, ideally, you want to be able to capture the screen directly through some sort of software if you're able to, because recording it through a webcam on the screen is very tacky, I would say. Like it just doesn't look good in my opinion. You'll get viewers still who don't care and they'll watch it, but you want to make it enjoyable because the whole point of you being live, casual or not, is for viewers to watch and interact with you and enjoy it. And one way to keep people around is not just by having good content, but by presenting that good content well. It's more hobby based. Yeah, it's totally fine if it's hobby or not. It doesn't matter.
That makes me think, because I don't have a schedule with my streaming. I just turn on the stream whenever I feel like it, and on some days I don't. I think my next step will be I really need to just put my schedule together.
Yeah. I mean, the schedule, it's not needed, but again, it only depends on you. What are you trying to do? You have OBS Studio. That's good.
So do we.
Are you playing in the groove? Are you playing Pump It Up, DDR? Are you playing nothing rhythm game related? What are you trying to stream mainly? Yeah, we recently got on a schedule about a little over a month ago. I was very inconsistent and I was like dreading on doing it because I was like, oh, I have to stay dedicated. But I mean, if you take a step back and think, what am I trying to do with the stream? What's the ultimate goal? What's the long-term goal? And for me, it's to get a partnership with Twitch and just keep doing it consistently and get some sort of revenue out of it. So by having that kind of standard, I need to present myself more of in a professional way, both as a person and on here, just visually, everything visual. So that involves investing in equipment to stream properly, investing in artists to create artwork for you, like we have on screen here. I didn't draw that up. I hired somebody. I paid them to do it.
Shout out to Gabe.
Yeah,
right?
Gabe is an awesome person too. He's helped me with a ton of the stuff on here. Gabe is the one who got the background of the Simply Love Hearts set up. The person who drew like the penguin in the cabinets, her name is Lisa. She has a Facebook page, which I'm gonna pull up right now, and I want to actually, big shout out to her. I want to share this with you guys. She is a fantastic artist. Let's go look her up really quick here while I'm still checking the comments.
So the Grace Autry says ITG, Call of Duty, and Steam games. And to that I say I hope that you're taking advantage of the Steam sale that started a day or two ago.
Oh, I've been seeing the memes for that. It's been popping up.
I picked up Rocket League finally. I know I should have picked that up ages ago, but finally $12 for Rocket League, and I couldn't be happier with that purchase. That's a game that a lot of my friends are playing. And I think you're going to be getting into it also, right?
We're going to have a tournament here.
Oh, really?
For one of the charity events, yes. Like I said, all the charity events we're doing monthly now, we're going to have different games. Sure, we're going to cycle through them, probably like a certain amount. It's not going to be infinitely different every time because that's just way too hard. But rotating it so it's always different. Not, in the groove again. And only cater to just in the groove players. Like I said, we're trying to reach out to other communities and bring them into the channel to be like, hey, we offer stuff for these kind of players or these kind of people. You know, we're not just here for in the groove.
Good stuff.
That's the whole point of the channel. We're starting to branch out. We've started to figure out what I want to do personally, and I've gotten a lot of advice from Justin here, my friend Gabe. All my friends all over the place have given me advice on what they think people want to see. And while doing that and kind of just fiddling with different things, I'm seeing feedback from people on here just so I can get an understanding of what you guys would like to see.
Feels like this is going to be a really fun summer, just in general and also for this channel and all the things that you have going on.
It would be nice. 2017 and 2016 have been really rough, as you know, personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very, very rough. It's a nice change. The Pump It Up machine is a really nice thing.
It is.
It makes things a lot more relaxing for me. Like I can just get into a new game and just enjoy it. In the Groove has just been kind of a turnoff for me lately. That's kind of why it hasn't been streaming so much. But I feel bad because I know originally the ground base of my viewers came here for In the Groove, so I have to keep that in mind and cater to them. So that is why we streamed it yesterday. I felt really bad. I felt like I was kind of abandoning those fans or those viewers. So it's kind of a balance. I'm trying to find a balance. I have considered to stream certain games on certain days of the week, but I'm like, while it's good for the fans, maybe it may or may not be. You can tell me what you think, but for me personally, I don't want to have that because it feels like a drag to be like, oh, I don't really feel like playing Pump It Up on this day. I kind of like going with the flow. I think for Saturdays, like I said, bi-weekly, it's going to be this. On the other Saturday, I might or might not do IRL and not rhythm games. Maybe just the week will be rhythm games, and weekend will be podcast or IRL.
I like the sound of that, and I would watch IRL, me personally.
Yeah, I think people want to see it.
You were talking about taking a walk with your wife and your snake to the park.
Yeah.
And even that, I'd be fine with watching that.
It's so simple, and sometimes I watch IRL streams, and I'm like, why are people watching this? But it's like, I'm watching it, so...
It's really something for the people that already follow you and that already like what you put out as a person. They just want to see more of your life and what you do on a daily basis.
Right.
And that'll help you out.
And yeah, like I said, walks, errands, cooking, or just sitting down and talking like this. This is why we're here. I was gonna scroll through some of these comments here. Betty says, like a day in the life kind of vlog, content plus personality, in answer to Grace's question. Fit Kicks saved my socks. Yeah, they do. Socks get torn up pretty quickly when you're playing rhythm games barefoot like that. Let's see here. I already read those comments from Grace. You're doing ITG COD and Steam games. Well, that's good with the Steam games. That's easy to capture through OBS. Dance games are much more difficult. Very, very tricky, and I think it's always different. The answer to capturing it is different per person.
Yeah.
What do you use?
I use a capture card. I spend about $200 on a capture card that will actually just route the signal from my ITG PC to my stream PC. But of course, if you're doing a stream game, you can usually, like most modern computers are strong enough to be able to stream and play the game from the same system.
So was that internal or external?
I use an external capture card. I know that there are internal ones. I just chose not to go that route.
So what brand is it?
It was a StarTech. I could actually pull up the Amazon listing if you like and put it in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's share that.
Getting that out.
If you want to go on this computer here,
Yeah.
you can search it on the Amazon tab, and we can paste it inside the chat.
With pleasure.
Because some people, I'm sure, are curious to know that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Reading through these, Gavin. Yeah, Gavin Rip Wallet, right? Always during the Steam summer sales. You've been needing graphics work done? Oh, yeah, that's right. We need to share Lisa. I totally swayed away from that. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me find her info here. Can you link me to your fan page? Talking about you and your work on stream right now. Okay. I asked for that. I got 7 games for less than $30. Oh my goodness, don't tell me this. This is exactly what will cause me to go on Steam and buy games. Like, it's so hard not to. Hello, how did you decide your screen name? Did you really just like the penguin? So Echo is asking how I got my name. So,
Tell us a story.
I got a story for this, yes. So you're
I've
talking
heard a little bit about this story, but I didn't get the full details.
Okay, all right.
So I'm interested in this too.
So people were gonna ask, how did Happy Feet come about, like the name?
How was Happy Feet born?
How was Happy Feet born? All right. Well, after playing so much in arcades, this is about 10 years ago, or so. I'm guessing 10 to 7 years. I'm really bad with like time frame. I was playing an arcade, and just randoms would always come up to me and say, "Oh, you look like Happy Feet when you play," or like even just like background noise. Like I'm playing, but I hear comments. You know, "Oh, he's so fast," or "He's so good. He looks like Happy Feet when he plays." It just kept hearing it consistently. Then my girlfriend at the time said that. She said, "It's funny because how you look like Happy Feet when you play in the groove, because you're just like swish swashing your feet and just like kind of like the same as Happy Feet in the movie when he's a baby." And that's when it hit me too. I was like, because at that time I was trying to figure out a name for myself, and Happy Feet is what came up, and it just stuck. It's really short, sweet, to the point story.
You know, it's funny. I never told you this. I was actually wondering when I first met you how you got the name Happy Feet, and what my thought was. I don't know if you've ever noticed. I feel like most of your height is in your top half. Have you noticed that?
I feel like you're from your torso up has more of your height than your legs.
Yeah.
That was not weird for me to be saying that.
No.
And I think the same is true for a penguin. And so I always just kind of thought that you got like a penguin handle based on the way that your body is shaped.
That's funny. We can go with that one too.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Possible.
It's like I'm tall on the top like a penguin because their feet are so tiny and they're always like covered up by their fatness. It's great. If you check Discord here at Happy333tz, you'll see my poor choice in avatars. Nice. Happy the Cow says, like, people seeing you guys sitting around and talking with video.
Yeah, she wants to know if we will do a live session at some point.
That I don't know. I like having just the screen and just audio so that people don't feel obligated to watch something, so that when they're I'm sure this is happening to some of the viewers now. There's probably viewers in the stream that are just watching, or they have it on in the background. They're not, the tab's not open, or it's on their phone while they're driving and they have it hooked up to their aux and they're just listening. That's kind of what I want to have it as. Yeah. And I also like having the chat on the stream. So if they do want to watch it, it's there. And it's simple. They don't have to have it minimized and have the chat on the side, mainly for mobile. They can just have it full screen, like put it up on their car if they're driving or whatever, and casually look over. I don't recommend you do that. But some people do because they don't care and they YOLO it. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go towards webcam and have a camera on us. I think I like it like this. That's just me.
Yeah, I prefer it too. I'm sure we could maybe once in a while do a live one, but we're really not doing anything special right now. We're just sitting by two computers. It's not that interesting in here right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we don't have a nice backdrop or anything like that. Like, the background's kind of nasty. It'd be inconsistent lighting in the house. We also have other people that live here, and if they have to walk to the kitchen, you'll see that. It kind of just looks tacky, you know? Like, I like it like this. It's a lot cleaner and simple.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think that'll happen. It's very unlikely. So Justin posted the capture card that he uses for his upgrade setup.
Yeah, actually just checked. It looks like it's gone through a price drop since I got it. I got it for about $184. It looks like it's about $168 now.
Oh, nice.
And it works great for me. And I see Yami Amarillo in the chat saying that he uses the same capture card. Works great for retro consoles when you want to capture 240p RGB. I haven't used it for that purpose yet, but it's good to know that it's multi-versatile.
That's good, because I'm thinking about doing that, actually. Yeah. Well, we're trying to figure out how to stream all of Alex's old consoles over there, N64, really? Super Nintendo, because I would like to stream that.
Oh, I would love to watch that.
Like, well, yeah, like for like the charity events, I would love to do that, like have a charity event while playing Mario Party or Yoshi's Island, and just having these like throwbacks, you know? Like, the other problem though is that we're trying to figure out how to get those games to play on that TV. I don't think it has an option. I'm not sure. Maybe after the stream, me and Justin can take a look at it.
I'll give it a once over.
Okay, so I finally got this. I know I procrastinated on this. So here we go. This link that I am about to post in the chat is the artist who does all my work, all of it, on my Twitch.
Now, is this also the person that does the backgrounds for your ITG packs?
That is someone else.
That's someone else.
I've
been wondering
that's Charles Matthew Escobar.
Okay.
He's a person in the community for In the Groove. And yeah, it's funny because I always go to him and like, hey, I'm making a pack in 2 days. I need help. And then he just I got you, fam. He just throws it at me and he makes something for me. He's the one that did Best of Happy Feet.
Okay.
He's the one that did, DJ Kurata. What are some other packs? Throw some at me.
Yeah,
I did Getty.
Oh, you did Getty.
I did Getty.
Okay.
It's very simple though. Like, I just Googled an image of some lolly and I was like, all right. And then I just looked up some generic Photoshop thing and it's very basic stuff. But like DJ Kurata, the artwork and like the font used is a lot more detailed versus the Getty one. Like, I'm not that experienced with Photoshop, and a lot of people think that's weird since I was a photographer. But hear me out. Sports photographers do not edit images or manipulate images. They're not allowed to. So Photoshop was used for very basic stuff. Contrast, highlights, exposure, that's it. You can't manipulate photos as a sports photographer. That's totally besides the point, but I just wanted to point that out as to why I have other people do artwork for me, because everyone scratches their noggin. They're like, why are you having other people do artwork when you're a photographer? Like, don't you have, like, the graphic design is completely different from photography. But Lisa is a fantastic artist. She does great work. Her Facebook page was posted in the chat, and one more thing is going to be posted. This is going to be the link to her Instagram, in case any of you Twitch users have Instagram. There you go. Go give her a like, follow her, ask her for work. She's also very affordable. very, very affordable. And in my opinion, she does a tremendous job on what she does. She's very talented. Like, it's perfect. I told her I want a cute penguin, and she's like, I got you. Here you go. Like, that's all I wanted. I wanted everything like contrasty, colorful, stands out, and I want a penguin that everyone will see it and they'll know, oh, that's Happy Feet, instead of using the actual Happy Feet character for copyright reasons. Like, I'm sure I'm fine because of how small I am, but I just didn't want to risk it. I wanted to create my own image, and that.
Yeah, that social media avatar that you've been using on Twitch and Twitter and such is really great. When was that made, actually?
That was made recently. I mean, not super recent, but I would say like 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, it suits. It totally suits what
I
you're
like
doing.
it. I like it a lot. It's short, sweet, to the point. If anything, I might maybe put like an arrow on his chest or something, just so it's like a little more, because it's just, as of now, just a penguin, so people are like, oh, like outsiders won't know. But
put an up arrow on its chest.
Yeah, I might just do that. I might contact her for that. It's not a bad idea for certain. Let's see here. You see they have a PCIe version 2. I think that's the one I'm using, Grace. I'm using the capture card that I'm using. I'm looking in, let's see. AverMedia internal capture card. Live Gamer HD 2 is the one I'm using. It's an internal capture card. It's PCIe. It's about the same price, $200. There's different ones you can use, and like I said, it varies from person to person depending on the setup they have. That's what it's going to come down to. Let's see here. What are we gonna discuss now? I'm trying to think of what other things we can cover, because again, we're trying to not go into a ton of different subjects so that we don't run out of content for the next stream. And also, that's why we do bi-weekly, so that it's not going to be constant weekly of, oh god, what are we going to talk about next? And we are going to have guests come on the show too. I think Irvin will be the first one. Okay. He's a 2DX player, so it'd be pretty cool to have like 2DX discussion on top of rhythm games. That'd be really neat.
I think Betty would like to be on this show also.
Betty is more than welcome to come in here.
Love to have her on there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how long has she been playing?
Oh, she's been playing for a while, but she really got back into it recently. Like around the time that she and I met, and then she started hanging out here and kind of got to know the community a little bit better. But as far as just like dabbling in dancing games, I think more than a decade.
Nice.
But Betty, feel free to correct us if we're wrong about that.
Yeah. Michael says that he's listening while playing PS4. That's exactly why I want to sway away from visual. I
think that's really cool, by the way, that you got your PS4 on in the background and listening to us.
Yeah, like this is exactly what we're doing this for, and that way it's more convenient for users and viewers that are on here. Betty says the biggest problem for me throughout the years is having no accessibility.
Well, we were touching on that earlier in the first hour about how we really want to get these games out of arcades and into people's homes, and these upcoming releases in the form of Step Maniacs and Rhythm Horizon look to be really getting that going in the right direction.
She didn't know there was a community like 15 years ago. Yeah, there was, and that's surprising to me too. I had no idea. Like for in the group specifically, I didn't know until like I got my own machine and started posting scores on AIJ. Aaron Japan's forum, that was really big back then. It's kind of died down nowadays, but I think forums are just dying. I think it's all on Facebook now with all these groups and everything. It's so flexible.
That's definitely the place to share your scores and just stay involved with our community.
Yeah, it is. I had all the time to play, but the arcades had shitty pads. That's another thing about public arcades is they don't maintain their pads sometimes, and it makes it really hard to get good scores.
She's been putting so much work into her pads lately. Like I got them set up for her, and now she's cleaning them up all the time, and really they're looking a lot better than mine now because she's really put this great touch into them, getting rid of all the dust, making the screws all nice.
And that's what you got to do. You got to put in the work. If you're going to invest in these, it's more than just an investment with money. It's an investment in time. You got to make it look nice and put some work into making them work well, you know? But it's worth it. If you have a passion for these games like we all do, you're buying. If you're buying a machine, you have a passion for this.
No doubt.
There's no one that's just a normie that's like, yeah, I'm going to buy one of those just because. Like, maybe a rich person out there who has a kid that's like, Mommy, I want that game. It's like, okay.
That would be nice.
Let me just buy an LX cabinet for my kid. That would be really nice. But that is a plan. Speaking of kids, we want to have a family and get them into rhythm games. Alex and our friends always joke about this, but like if we have kids and they don't like dance games, then I'll be like, I have no son. Just totally disown them. It's like, no, you don't play dancing games. You're terrible. You're a terrible child. Couldn't play seriously at a broke elementary school and. Oh, you were broke at elementary, high school, and college student, and you couldn't play seriously. Yeah, that's like we said earlier. It definitely takes a scratch at your finances.
I remember when I would need to take the bus to play at Camelot Golfland. This is when I was at Cal State Fullerton. I didn't have a car yet, and so I would always time out the bus schedule just so that I could go and play DDR Supernova and Supernova 2 at the time.
Jeez.
Those were the days.
Yami says that a friend of his got a kid, or his kid, into DDR. 4 months later, he's doing 16s.
I am seeing some people getting their children, like known community members, getting their children into the game. I think that's really cool to see.
Brett's doing that. Sometimes
Flash,
he does it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Flash. Flash is sometimes makes his kid play or just has him play, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, I've seen it. It's becoming common now because we're hitting that age where people have kids and they're young enough to start learning how to play and understand the basics of the game, and that's really cool to see.
Dude, what if your kids end up being better than you?
Then God bless them. I rose them right. A teardrop would come down my eye and be like, that's my boy.
What if your son quads Vertex squared?
Ooh, that would be really interesting to see. Like, it runs in the family.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny to see, like, my brother or sister do it. That'd be funny. Just like, oh, then it really does run in the family.
Do your siblings play at all?
No.
No?
Well, Emma, my younger sister, used to, and she passed the 14 when she was 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. But now that she doesn't have access to it, no, she doesn't play. My older sister, like I said in the beginning, she used to play DDR with me. Very, very long time ago. But none of them do it normally. It's only if it's available. A local player, Zippo, his kid is so much better than him, and he's proud of his kid. Hey,
wait a minute.
Awesome.
I think I know Zippo. Are we talking about the Zippo that plays at Orange Dave & Buster's? Because in that case, yeah, I know him. I know his kid. I actually met his kid when he was a newborn child, and now his little kid is doing a lot better than him on DDR 18s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crispy says that he's got a Dedicab. Your 4-year-old pretends to play but does not understand it yet. Yeah, like they have to hit a certain age and then you have to teach them a certain way, but they'll definitely get it if you keep them on it. It's really cool. And his son, and Yami says that it's his son June.
Yeah, I know Zippo and June. Wow, that's really cool. We have a local over here.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well, I think Yami knows Irvin.
Oh, really?
From what I remember from previous streams, right, Yami? You know Irvin. And
Do I know Yami, and am I just totally dismissing the mark right now?
Well, that's the thing. Like Twitch is like the usernames are so hard to remember. Like they're just they're not the same as their alias. You know, their real alias. Like for me, my nickname on real life is Happy333tz, but on Twitch it's Happy333tz, and it's spelled funky. And I did that because obviously Happy333tz wasn't available, and so now I have kind of like these two aliases going on, and it's kind of annoying for people because they're like, wait, who is you, this one or that one? Only the community kind of knows, but outsiders not so much.
Got it.
You've seen Irvin naked.
Well, I mean, who hasn't?
Oh my goodness. Well, I live with a guy, so
Yeah.
I've seen him naked a couple times, but not like full on naked. Like I've seen him come out of the shower and just a little rag is covering him. That's it. I've never seen him full on naked though. You've met Justin before. Don't think he likes me so much.
Oh, I don't know why you would think that. I don't know who this is, to be honest.
Yami, I don't know who you are, but I don't think that's the truth. Unless it's someone that is like your arch nemesis.
I don't think I have an arch nemesis.
But I chose this alias before Twitch existed. Did you? That's probably a common thing, because a lot of the people have said that to me. That's probably true. And it seems like Betty's having a trip over there just laughing it up. From the whole Irvin naked comment. Your first time playing was in 2000. Wow. Damn. Okay, well, I think this is good enough, and we can wrap it up for the first episode of this Quadcast.
I like how this turned out.
I think it was really good. I think that we will definitely keep this going. Because it's bi-weekly too, it kind of makes it more flexible for the most part for Justin to probably come in more often on these.
Yes, please.
I mean, I assume you're free around this time on the weekends typically, unless something happens. And if something does happen and he's not available, then I'll most likely replace him with someone else, or just have it on my own. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to replace you. Get out of here. Let's see. I think so. Yeah, not this next Saturday, but the following one, we'll have a stream again. For a Quadcast, and we will have the episode be on a certain topic, but it's fine if we sway away from that subject if people want to interact with us and have a conversation or ask a question like you guys all did today. What we do at the end of every stream, we raid somebody, which is when we will go into someone's live stream that is live right now and just share some love. You let them know that the ITG community or the dance game community says hello and that you're coming from Happyf333tz channel, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna go look and see who's live. Oh, perfect. Okay. I owe this guy a lot.
Yeah, you owe this guy a raid right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go raid the 8-bit drummer right now. Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna post a link to his Twitch inside the chat because this man has done so much for me. He is a very successful streamer. He is a very entertaining person. He is the most happiest, outgoing person I've ever seen on Twitch ever. Again, that is the 8-bit drummer. He just plays on an electric drum set live and takes requests for $8 or more donation. You can send in a link to a YouTube song or a SoundCloud link, and he will play the song and react to it and just sight read, play the drums. Unless it's a really popular song and he knows it. But otherwise, he's sight reading and just playing on a whim. And he's really funny. So we're going to go send some love his way. He knows who I am. Just say Happy Feet sent you guys and let him know that it's a Penguin Squad Attack raid. So thank you guys so much.
I'm in on this. And
Yeah.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in. This was a great amount of fun. This really exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
And couldn't be happier to be doing this again.
It's great. Yeah, there will definitely be more of this. So we stream again on, what's today, Saturday?
Today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday. So Monday at 3 o'clock PST. I will be here live. We will most likely stream in the group or pump it up. If something changes, I'll always update you guys on my Twitter. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will post that link right now.
And I will raid with you.
I'm going to spam it a couple times, and then we're going to host him in a second here. And we got to do our little fancy outro shenanigans. So give me a second here. Okay, we're good. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on Monday.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.